Jai Gaur Premanande.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to 22nd Avenue. This is where Srila Prabhupada began the Hare Krishna movement out after he left India. This is his first Hare Krishna temple. And there's a statue or a murti, as devotees understand it, of Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada is actually here because devotees, no one dies in this world, and especially devotees who realize their spiritual nature and whose goal is to teach us Krishna consciousness. They stay with us forever. So Srila Prabhupada's here, and he's blessing this gathering of devotees, and I'm sure Srila Prabhupada is delighted that everyone here is chanting Hare Krishna together and studying his books and learning how to spread Krishna consciousness to please him, which is his mission, to save the fallen conditioned souls of this world. Is a place of untold suffering. So it's a very small group, at least at the moment. So of course that doesn't include the devas and other enlightened beings who I imagine are here also appreciating the gathering and wanting to hear and chant with us. But for those who we can see before us, maybe we can just introduce ourselves. So I'll start. So my name is Atma Nivedana Das, and Subhangada, my wife, and I, we run this program with the assistance of other nice devotees on Saturday evenings, and we work our way through the Bhagavad Gita verse by verse since January 2011. So by the grace of devotees of Krishna, that is possible. And then, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Garuda Pandit Das.
Say again.
Garuda Pandit Das.
Garuda Pandit Das.
Yes.
Welcome. Thanks for coming.
From Brazil.
From Brazil.
Yeah.
Have you been here before?
No, first time.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoy it. I'm sure you
Definitely.
will, and I'm sure you already are. How about you, Prabhu?
My name is Shruta Chandra Das. I am from Chennai.
Achyuta Chandra Das.
Shruta. Shruta Chandra.
Shruta Chandra. Okay, from Chennai. Hare Krishna. Okay, glad to have you here. Thank you for coming. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, hi, everybody. I'm Abhishek. I'm from Bangalore. I recently moved to New York, so this is my first time as well. So looking forward to read Gita and learn about it. So that's my. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, well, I wish you very well in your journey forward.
Thank you.
How very much.
Hare Krishna, everybody. My name is Prahlada Dasi. I come from Spain. I do Pujari service at the Bhakti Center.
Okay, thanks for coming. Hare Krishna. Would like to introduce you.
Hello, I'm Michael. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, Caribbean. I don't know what else needs to be said. I am here actually connecting with fellow like minds, and I just lost my trend of thought. Actually, I'm sitting here and I'm trying to figure out what it is I actually need to accomplish. What I need to accomplish.
That's great because
I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say here. Thank you for being here. That's it. Thank you for allowing me to be a part.
Yeah. Well, I would just encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, and thank you for being here. And there's a saying that Srila Prabhupada sometimes would quote, "Tato Brahma Jigyasa." So now it's time to inquire into the Supreme. So sounds like you're exactly on the right track based on what you're saying, you're asking about. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, I'm Manjari Devidasi. I'm from Guyana. I
been here for a long time.
Since you're a young and
I've been doing service, from childhood, grew up in the movement.
and you keep on doing lots of service. That's very nice. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Have you been here before?
Yes.
Oh,
Hare
okay.
Krishna.
Everyone's just introducing themselves. If it's okay with you, you could introduce yourself.
Hare Krishna. My name is Jordan. I've been here before a few times. I spend a lot of time in the Bhakti Center, also in Harlem, the Yuga Dharma ashram.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Back when it was there, yeah.
I recognize this fellow behind you. Hey.
From Bhakti Sasha.
Yeah, I was passing by. I know that there's a Bhagavad Gita reading on Saturday, which is really nice. So I figured to drop in. I don't mean to be rude. I do need to leave in like 15-20 minutes, so I just kind of came in for the association. And,
Yeah.
to hear
Well,
some-
thanks. Yeah, it's a nice addition to our group that you joined us, even if it's short and sweet. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
And you can come again later, whenever. Hare Krishna and Sasha.
My name is Sasha. I'm from Ukraine and I come here to help Atma and Subi also. So.
He's good at that. Super. Yeah, sort of. Okay, and then I'll introduce our guest today. This is Sri Prahlada Prabhu, and he's a professor here in New York, and he's also a devotee since he was a child and a serious practitioner of Krishna consciousness, not just serious because some people might, opine as such, but he's demonstrated that by things he's been doing since childhood, helping to free devotees from being tortured and imprisoned in Russia when he was a child, playing music and reaching out to leading figures in government, and helping as the right-hand devotee, the right-hand man of Indradyumna Swami, in spreading Krishna consciousness with some of the most amazing and large preaching events in the world, which were happening in Poland every summer, year after year after year. Huge huge Hare Krishna festivals with, I guess, hundreds of devotees. Yeah. Something like many, yeah. and eventually made his way here and is a professor here, and now is helping to spread Krishna consciousness here when he's not also doing his job. So thanks for coming, and that's it.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here at 26 2nd Avenue. As Atma mentioned, this is the place where Prabhupada established his first center in 1966. Next year will be the 60th anniversary of that auspicious event, auspicious for the world. And it was here that he wrote his commentary on Bhagavad Gita, which he called Bhagavad Gita as it is. In his earlier life, he had been a follower of Gandhi. And Gandhi wrote a commentary on the Gita called The Bhagavad Gita According to Gandhi. Prabhupada met his own spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. And from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he learned that we should take Krishna's teachings as they are. He wanted to present Krishna's teachings in the spirit with which they are given, rather than through some interpretation. And so therefore, very emphatically, he expresses that message with his commentary on the Gita, Bhagavad Gita as it is. He initially came with the Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam is another sacred text, much more detailed. The Gita has how many verses? Who can say? Michael? putting you on the spot here.
How many verses
In the Gita?
in the Gita? My numbers may be off, but I know it's upwards of 600.
Yeah, okay, you're close. Yeah, very well done. Somebody else? Abhishek?
No, I've never read the Gita.
Okay. Your study starts now.
7.
Okay, Shruta Chaitanya tells us it's 700 verses in the Gita in 18 chapters. In contrast, the Bhagavata, Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam, has 18,000 verses. So it's much, much bigger. So Prabhupada initially came with his Bhagavatam. He thought that he was translating that in Vrindavan in India, and he brought that with him to the West, that he will teach people Bhagavatam. But when he came, he discovered that there was an interest in the Bhagavad Gita. People knew the Gita already. And so while here, he had a disciple reach out to different publishers to get some interest that he will give a manuscript for the Bhagavad Gita. And so in this center, he made one of his students as the president, Brahmananda, Prabhu. And so as the president of ISKCON 26 2nd Avenue, he also gave him the responsibility, find a publisher for Bhagavad Gita. And so, welcome. And so Brahmananda, he went up and down New York, meeting different publishers, trying to interest them in Prabhupada's manuscript. Eventually he walked into Macmillan, which you all know, one of the leading publishers in the world. And when he approached Macmillan, they said, we just had a meeting. We just had a meeting and we said that we need to publish Bhagavad Gita, and then you walked in the door. So yes, where's the manuscript? We'll publish it. It's a wonderful story. Prabhupada's will, and then Paramatma in the heart. Krishna inspires the publishers within their heart. We need a manuscript for the Gita. So it was a perfect time as well. And so Prabhupada, he wrote this commentary, Bhagavad Gita, as it is. Let's see. Here it says, 1996, no, what is the total? In total, millions of copies of this Bhagavad Gita have been printed in all the languages of the world. Many of you here represent different languages, so you will find Bhagavad Gita as it is translated into your languages as well, whether it's Tamil or Kannada or Spanish or Portuguese or Serbian or any other language. You will find Bhagavad Gita as it is translated, because Prabhupada, he encouraged his disciples also to translate. And so millions and millions of copies. But let me say this about Prabhupada's translation, because he also explains in his introduction, he said, he was lecturing here on Bhagavad Gita. He came with Bhagavatam, but the interest was in Gita, so he started giving Gita lectures here in this place. You'll see there's a sign in the window. Lecture on Bhagavad Gita, I don't know what date it has there, 1960 something, 65. So Prabhupada was giving lectures on the Bhagavad Gita here because there was that interest. And then after he tells a story, I think it's in his introduction here. He says that recently a woman asked me after one of my lectures, can you recommend an edition of the Bhagavad Gita? And he says, although there are some 200 English translations, I couldn't recommend any, because they are all interpreting according to their own opinion. Thinking back to Gandhi, Bhagavad Gita according to Gandhi. They're all interpreting according to their own opinion. He says, my intention is to give you the Bhagavad Gita as Arjuna received it. And so something else very significant is that 200 editions of the Gita in English, and the question can be asked, how many people after reading those 200 different editions became bhaktas? The answer may be 0. So what is the point? After reading Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is, hundreds of thousands of people, they have become bhaktas of Krishna. So Krishna's final teaching in the Gita, 1866, he says, abandon all dharmas, sarva dharman parityaja, mamekam sharanam raja. Abandon all dharmas, all isms, dogmas, do sharanagatya or sharanagati, surrender to me. I will protect you. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo. I will protect you from all negative karmas. I will protect you from all reactions to any sin that may have been committed. Masuchaha, don't worry. Don't be afraid. Krishna's assurance to us. And also an offering to us. Krishna extended himself, a compact. Here's my offer to you. You surrender, you take shelter of me, I will protect you. There's the two-way agreement. Are you ready? You say to me that I'm taking shelter of you, and then I will give you my full protection. Don't worry. So the question is, how many people took Krishna up on his offer, on this bargain? If the most powerful person said to you, just take shelter of me, I will protect, I'll give you everything. Krishna's made that offer. But most people read the Gita as some literary poetry, world literature. You can study Gita in the university as world literature, world religion, and you just do it as an intellectual exercise, so there's no transformation of the heart. It's studied Prabhupada's Gita as it is. We see the effect has actually been there. Hundreds of thousands of people have taken Krishna up on his offer. They have become bhaktas. So Atma Nivedana, Prabhu has said that this gathering has been studying the Gita systematically, verse by verse by verse by verse. So today's verse is chapter 8, verse
19.
19. Verse 19. So we can either give you the book, or you can find it online on your very smartphone.
If you'd like to look at a copy, you raise your hand and Sasha may help you out.
Chapter 8, verse
19. Yep. Do you know where to look Abhishek? So we go to Veda base. Yep. Okay. Radha showed you. Yeah, he has it there. You keep it, Michael. Abhishek has it on his phone. Okay, I'll read the Sanskrit. Bhutva bhutva praliyate. You can respond. We'll start again. I will read the Sanskrit, you can respond. Bhuta, No, okay. Bhuta grama sa evayam.
Bhutagrama Sevayam
Bhutva bhutva praliyate.
Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate
Ratragameva sapartha.
Ragyagame Vashapartha
Prabhavatyaha agame.
Prabhavatyahagame Bhutagrama Sevayam
Bhutagrama sa evayam.
Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate
Bhutva bhutva praliyate.
Ratyagame Vashapartha
Ratragameva sapartha.
Prabhavatyahagame
Prabhavatyaha agame.
Bhutagrama saivayam.
Bhutagrama sa evayam.
Bhutva praliyate.
Bhuta bhutva praliyate.
Ratyagameva shapartha.
Ratragameva sapartha.
Prabhavatyahagame.
Prabhavatyaha agame. Sure.
Bhuta Gramasa Iva Yame
Bhutagrama sa evayam.
Bhutva Bhutva Pralayati
Bhutva bhutva praliyate.
Ratre Agame Vashapatha
Ratragameva sapartha.
Prabhavatya Agame
Prabhavatyatma agame. Sure.
I know, I was wondering if it's going Avagata. Am I in the right place?
Yeah, it might be a lot to try to get your tongue around the Sanskrit.
Buddhagrama Saivayam.
Yeah, Bhutagrama sa evayam.
Buddha Buddha Paliyata.
Bhutva bhutva praliyate.
Rachai Agame Vashapata.
Ratragameva sapartha.
Prahavate Aha Agame.
Prabhavatyaha agame. Well done, Michael. Translation. Again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all living entities come into being. And with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. So would you like to read 2 sentences from the purport? Yep.
Okay. The less intelligent who try to remain within this material world may be elevated to higher planets and then again must come down to this planet Earth. During the daytime of Brahma, they can exhibit their activities on higher and lower planets within this material world. But at the coming of Brahma's night, they are all annihilated.
In the day, they receive various bodies for material activities, and at night, they no longer have bodies but remain compact in the body of Vishnu. Then, again, they are manifest at the arrival of Brahma's day. Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate. During the day, they become manifest, and at night, they are annihilated again.
Ultimately, when Brahma's life is finished, they are all annihilated and remain unmanifest for millions and millions of years. And when Brahma is born again in another millennium, they are again manifest.
In this way, they are captivated by the spell of the material world. But those intelligent persons who take to Krishna consciousness use the human life fully in the devotional service of the Lord, chanting Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thus they transfer themselves even in the life to to the spiritual planet of Krishna and become eternally blissful there, not being subject to such rebirths.
Excellent. So, there's a lot to unpack here. Let me start by telling you of a experience I had, maybe a couple of years ago. I was in London and my brother-in-law visited from Serbia. So I took him around the city, showed him the sights. We went to Westminster Abbey. And has anyone been to Westminster Abbey? Okay, Sumi, yeah. That's a very prominent cathedral church in the centre of London, next to the British Parliament. It's a place where many kings have been coronated over hundreds of years. The abbey itself is 1,000 something years old. Maybe not the current structure, but that location has been there. There's been a place of worship there for more than 1,000 years, and even that, yeah. So it's an ancient place of worship. You can see the old throne that British monarchs have been coronated on. It's very unimpressive. It's a wooden, a wooden structure, almost like this bench, but it has a back to it. There are many tombstones there. So many monarchs have been buried there. Not just monarchs, noble men and women, kings, princesses, princes, aristocracy, some poets, scientists as well in more recent times. And as we were walking our way through this abbey, my brother-in-law observed, I didn't see it, I didn't notice it, but he's a doctor and he notices such things. He says, you see how young they all died. Basically, if they were 30, they were old. 35 seemed to be the average age. So these are 100 people who had been buried hundreds of years ago. 35, 40 is a very long life for that time. They're dying from disease, but they're also, there's politics and intrigue. So 45, that's a really long life. So that was an interesting observation, right? An interesting observation. I wouldn't have picked it up, but he saw it. As a doctor, you deal with death a lot. My wife is a doctor, and very frequently you're trying to preserve the life of your patients, but death is a factor of life. But here's the thing. So we're living longer in our time relative to a few hundred years ago in England. Are we happier? Do we feel that we have a longer life, or living longer? Are we happier because of our longer life? Or is it relative? If the average is 35, 40 for a long life, now if the average extends out to 70 or 75 or 80, 85, are we happier with those extra 35 years? That's an interesting question to ponder, right? And then we can think about We don't have the data for our time to say whether people are happier or not. What I can tell you, what we do have data, the data we have from the Gallup organization, because they do ask this question every year to people all around the world for the past 30 odd years, and basically it's a flat line. Are people happier? No. Are they worse? Are they less happy? No, pretty much it just stays. Whatever people were reporting 35 years ago, they report this, their latest report came out last week, so that's why it's in my mind. Latest update. You know, it goes up a tiny bit, down a low, year by year, but if you extend it out, it's pretty much, it averages out as a flat line. People's happiness in the United States or in the UK or in Japan or in Denmark or wherever they're taking the measure. Of course, if you're in a place that's afflicted by war, people are less happy. So conflict zones, people are less happy. But as long as people's basic needs are being met, food, shelter, basic safety, happiness pretty much tends to be a flat line. So that's interesting to observe. Whether people are living 35 years or 40 years or 85 years, the Bible has reference to people living 125 years. And then Bhagavatam has reference to people living longer still in bygone times. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga. People lived longer. But I'm not sure that our happiness necessarily correlates with age because it's relative. That's my sense. So think about in India, some of you are from India, during the there's a season, the bug season. I don't know when that is. What is it, after the summer or before the rain? So during the bug season, you're under the lamps. If their light is on through the night, in the morning you'll see a pile of insects under the light, or around your candle. You'll see the insects piled up. Is that a particular season or is that year round? I think it's a season, right?
Yeah, and a lot of frogs and everything is done.
So, but they've lived their life. That's pretty much, so some insects, they live for a few hours. Some live for a few days. Some live for a few hours. And that's a full lifespan for them. It's not that they're thinking, oh, I'm only going to live for a few hours. That's a really short life. No, from the insect's perspective, that is a full life. They have the whole birth, growth, maintenance, and then dwindling, old age, and death. They go through the full cycle. Bhagavatam Gita describes six phases to a life. We may undergo them in 35 years or 75 years or 85 years or a couple of hours. And it doesn't feel longer or shorter to one who's in that subjective condition. So yeah, we invest a lot in trying to extend longevity in our time. Recently, there was a meeting in Beijing for their celebration of the anniversary of the end of the Second World War or something. There was a massive parade, world leaders were there, And then a mic picked up the conversation between the president of China, Xi, the president of Russia, Putin, and the president of North Korea. On this topic. Did anyone read about that? So as they're walking to the parade, Shasha's nodding his head. Yeah, I read about that. So as they're walking to the parade, the mic picked up their conversation. It's like, yeah, longevity is increasing. And then one mentions to the other. These days, I think it was Putin, his observation. These days you can do organ transplants. If we just transplant the organs, we should be able to live forever. So, yeah, 3 dictators discussing how they're going to live forever and continue their rule. So there's this desire to extend life. We have an assumption or an expectation that a correlation with that would be extending our happiness as well. But we can also appreciate that it's relative. The experience of the thing, the experience of a life is relative to our expectation. Whether it's 75, 45 years, or a few hours, in the case of an insect or a bug. Brahma, his life is being described here, in this verse. And his life is incredibly long. I don't know the exact numbers because I'm not a numbers person. Atmaniveda is, yeah?
I think for human years it's considered 311 trillion.
311 trillion
years.
Earthly years. So a very long life. And so what's being described here? During Brahma's very long life, all beings are, during his day, all beings are being created. Let's see. So Prabhupada's verse. In human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together form the duration of Brahma's one day. And such also is the duration of his night. Oh, okay, that was verse 17. And then Prabhupada gives the calculations there.
My number was right.
Yeah. Well done. So today we read, again and again Brahma's day arrives, all living beings, entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. That's not like you and I died and being born and then died and being born. This is all living beings being manifested during his day, means our cycles of birth and death begin during his day. And then during his night, when he sleeps, the whole process of creation, maintenance, destruction, it just gets paused, and the universe, that existence of life within the universe is withdrawn during his night. So we see Brahma has a very, very long life. What did you say?
311 trillion
human years.
Human Earth years
right.
is the lifespan of Lord Brahma.
But Brahma's life is 100 years?
For himself.
For himself, yeah. So that 320 something trillion human years, Brahma experiences as 100. Means his life. How we experience our 75 or however long you're going to live, how we experience that, Brahma experiences a life 320 trillion years. It's basically his 75 or 80 or 100. So we see,
So therefore, it says when Vishnu breathe in and breathe out,
right,
that's when you create these stars for the one planet. So that's when Brahma life comes in.
at the end of his, yes, 100 years. Yeah, so that's a bigger cycle. These are microcycles of his waking and sleeping within that. So we see Brahma's life is very, very long, but we see how time and life, the experience of time, is relative. And so the Vedas, they give some stories as well of humans who go into Brahma's abode and they experience time from his perspective, and then they come back to our world, earthly time, and then they get an experience of the contrast between, or the difference between those perceptions of time. Can you think of any example? Yeah, it was. I guess I worded it in a very complicated way. But the Bhagavatam, so this other text, gives some stories where Brahma's time and earthly time come in contact with each other, and earthly beings experience Brahma's time, and when they come back to earth, they experience Brahma's time as very small, and then they come back to earth and realize how in earthly experience so much of our time has passed. So there are a couple of examples that I'm thinking of. Yes?
Maybe, if I understand you correctly, as we age, our perception of time is faster?
Yeah, so that's another example of how we experience time from a relative perspective.
Yeah.
Thank you for that example. It's that would go along with the example or illustration I was giving of the relative experience of people in England a few hundred years ago, or us today, or the insects and their relative experience of time. And then, so then we also experience that in our life. Time as a child feels very long. Our whole life is ahead of us, and a whole week feels like a month. A month feels like a year. A year is like infinite, like a lifetime for a child. And then as we grow older, years are just passing us by so quickly. Yeah, so that's a good example of the relative experience of time. And then the relative experience of Brahma's time vis-a-vis earth time, given in the Bhagavatam. Yes?
Well, you want the past time when Krishna is appearing as all the cowherd boys that were stolen by.
Right.
But I wasn't prepared to explain further.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So in brief, there's a story told how when Krishna was performing his pastimes on earth 5,000 years ago, he's playing as a cowherd. And Brahma sees this little boy and he thinks, is that really God? Like my master, the Supreme Lord, the creator of all of this? And so, because he's Krishna's playing as a child, and he thinks, really? Like Krishna's playing so well, that Brahma gets bewildered. Brahma vimohana. And so he decides to steal Krishna's friends. He kidnaps them. and he steals Krishna's calves, then his friends. And so then Krishna, he's looking for the calves, he can't find them, comes back to where his friends were having lunch with him, and they're gone as well. And so then Krishna is thinking what to do. How will I go home without the cows, and how will I go home without all the boys? And so he expands himself as boys and as calves, and they go home as if it's a regular day. The mothers of the calves, so the cows, have so much more love for their calves. As if the same kind of feeling that they have for Krishna, they have for their calves. And similarly, the parents of the boys, they have so much more love for their sons, because their sons are now Krishna. They don't know. But all of this love that they have for their children and for Krishna, it's all combined, and they love their sons so much more. And so this goes on for a year. Krishna's acting out the roles of the calves and of the boys, coming and going from the home. Meanwhile, Brahma comes back from where he's kept the boys, and he checks in. What's going on? What's Krishna doing now that I've stolen all of his friends and calves? And he sees Krishna having lunch with the boys and the calves. And Brahma goes, what? What's going on? And he looks back to where he hid them, and he looks back and he sees all those boys and calves turned into Krishna. And he goes, oh, okay, I made a big mistake here. I better go return the boys, return the calves, and apologize for what I've done. For Brahma, it was one moment, but on earth, it was a whole year. So that's one story that's told to illustrate the difference in the experience of time between how we experience it on earth and how Brahma's experiencing it in his realm. Yes?
I'm thinking of the king who had mystic power. I forgot his name. And then he went to the heavenly planet just for a few days. And when he came back, everybody was dead. It was his great-great-grandchildren.
Yeah.
And of course, they would not let him get in a palace because they thought it was a crazy person.
Right.
And then he couldn't understand what's happening. And then it's Lord Narada Muni that came and explained to them what has happened.
Yeah. That was Indrajumna, King Indrajumna. He built he had the deity of Jagannath carved. He had the deity made, and he had a temple built. And then he said, let me go and ask Brahma to do the Abhishek, to do the installation of this deity. And so he went and asked Brahma, will you come and do the Abhishek? Brahma said, by the time you get back to earth, thousands of years would have passed. So he returned to earth and he went, hey, where's my temple? That grand temple that I built. It had all been covered by, it had been, there were other kings there were other priests, everything had changed. Nobody even recognized him. So yeah, that's a good story. Not in the Bhagavatam, but it is a good illustration. And there's another one in the Bhagavatam, similar, where a king has a very qualified daughter. What's his name? Raivata. King Raivata. He was in an earlier age, like Satya Yuga. And he had a daughter, and he thought, this daughter is so good, she's so qualified. Who am I going to marry her to? None of these kings are qualified for my daughter. None of them are suitable husbands, suitable matches for my daughter. I better go and consult with Brahma. So he goes to Brahma Loka with his daughter. Brahma's hearing the recital of the Vedas, so he waits. And then once the recital's finished, he approaches Brahma and says, Brahma, this is my daughter. Who should I give her hand to in marriage? I don't want to give her to any schmuck king. Maybe he didn't say schmuck, that's Yiddish, but I don't want to give her to just anyone. I'm thinking about this king, thinking about that one, but not sure. Prabhu said, Raivata, all those kings that you're describing, they have died long ago. They are long gone. Ages have passed. None of them live anymore. And so Raivata says, well, then what am I to do? Brahma says, well, you are in luck. Krishna and Balaram are presently on earth. The Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, has descended. He's on earth presently. You go and offer your daughter's hand in marriage to Balaram. And so that's what King Raivata does. He offers his daughter's hand in marriage to Balaram. His daughter's name is Revati. Yeah? So Balaram's wife is Revati, daughter of Revata, King Revata, who was a king from Satya Yuga. Princess from Satya Yuga marries Balaram at the end of Dwapara Yuga. So, yes?
She was also like 100 feet tall or something.
Oh, okay. So we had to shrink her. Yeah, okay, thank you for that. Apparently people in Satya Yuga, they will live longer and they were taller. So she had to be shrunk to size to match with a...
So, he went to meet the Brahma to find out about his daughter, but his daughter remained here. So she wasn't subject to...
No, he took her with him.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're in Brahmaloka, and Brahmaloka time is in operation. And although it's very, very long, by our experience, by their experience subjectively, it's just a few minutes. They're just there for a few minutes, and maybe, I don't know exactly how long, minutes, hours, but it wasn't long. And that was thousands of Earth years. So, what are we to take from all of this? We have been in this material world for a very long time. We're experiencing it subjectively now as one life. We have had thousands of such lives, even millions of such lives.
That's where in chapter 4 of Krishna told Arjuna, when Arjuna said, Krishna says, I've spoken this message to the sun god. And Arjuna says, well, we're like similar age. Like, how did you do this? And then he says, oh, I remember all of this time, but you have not.
Right, yeah, very good. So we have been in this material world, Prabhupada, he would say, since time immemorial. What are we doing? Trying to extend this life a little more, trying to find happiness. Yeah, better car, better degree, better job, better salary, better whatever it is that we're trying to do. New York City is a city of ambition. People trying to do better, bigger, faster, to be happier. Is it working? What are we achieving with all of this? This verse is telling us we are in a cycle. We're going in circles. One life we might have a bit more, other life we have a bit less. One life we might live a little longer, other lives we might be cut short one way or another. But what are we doing? For Brahma it's day and night. For us it's billions of years. this experience of the soul, whether long or short, is not actually satisfying or fulfilling the soul. It's actually not natural to the soul, these subjective experiences. Pleasure, pain, happiness, distress, heat, cold, long, short. These are all perceptions that we are experiencing as we identify with different material situations. So in the hierarchy of the universe, we are in the middle, Brahma is at the top, time is experienced as a, the higher planetary systems we go to in the universe, according to the Vedas. Einstein also has a theory of time relativity. Time is experienced, longer time is experienced in relative proportion to Earth time. What is shorter, the shorter here is longer there, but the experience is relative and proportional. So what are we doing with this time? What are we achieving with this time? What are we benefiting through these experiences? What Krishna is wanting to encourage us to do is to give up this material identification and the associated subjective experiences of so-called happiness, distress, long, short. So-called identification with either an earthly form or a devata form, that's a demigod form, or forms of beings and Brahmalok, to give up all of these false perceptions and the associated experiences and come to realize the self as we truly are. Self-realization. Earlier Atma quoted Vedanta, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now that you have achieved the human form of life, now is the time to acquire the absolute truth with a capital T. Capital T truth as opposed to small t truth. What's the difference? Small t truth relates to our subjective experiences that are subjective and transitory. So I can say the bottle is on the harmonium. Is it true? You all agree? Is it true? No? Yeah, is it true? Yes, no, yes. So that's the subjective material truth, transitory, small t truth. That's what we are caught up in with these short lives, long lives, so-called happiness, so-called distress. It's all relative. What is the eternal? That you are a spirit soul, that is capital T truth. It will always be true. Whether we stand up or sit down, whether we are in Brahma's day or night, whether we are identified as a man or a woman or as an animal or as a demigod, we will always be Atma, spirit soul. We will always have a relationship with Krishna. Whether forgotten or not, whether we are active in that relationship or not, it is always there. We are Krishna's part and parcel. Krishna will always be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is a capital T truth. So we need to learn these capital T truths to escape this waste of time, actually. Whether long or short, whether perceived as long or short is relative. To escape this cycle, day and night, birth and death, we need to awaken to or learn these capital T truths and apply that teaching in life. Prabhupada brings it to its essence in the end of his purport. What does he say? Let's read. But those intelligent persons who take to Krishna consciousness use this human life fully in devotional service of the Lord. Chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's how we apply the teaching of the capital T truth. We apply it by a practice of sadhana, of devotional service. And then what is the effect or the result? Prabhupada says, thus they transfer themselves, even in this life, to the spiritual planet of Krishna and become fully blissful there, not being subject to rebirths. So we will conclude here. A nice verse from the Gita. Atmanivedana Prabhu has a comment or a question.
Comment, thank you.
Please.
So, over the course of time, a siren, so I'll try to speak louder. So, over the course of time, we can, each person sees changes in their life. They get things, they lose things, there may be more money in their bank account or less, more people who work for them or less, certain friends are with them, some are no longer, they're new ones. And so this relates to Krishna saying in the Bhagavad Gita that one should be detached from the fruits of one's activities, meaning one shouldn't try to get the results of what one does. So, with the understanding that you're discussing about how time is, the conception of time and how we live within the constraints of time, that it's really a relative construct, and time actually doesn't, where things that change in our lives and around us as time passes actually doesn't have to do with who we are. So with that understanding, then one can actually embrace Prabhupada's teachings, which is that you shouldn't, because Prabhupada would chastise like someone who's some person who's enjoying his life as he's young and says, oh, but when I get older, after I finish accomplishing all the things I want and enjoying all the things I want when I'm younger, when I'm old, then I'll take to the Krishna consciousness that you're teaching, Prabhupada. So Prabhupada would criticize that because it has that's a fantasy that there's nothing wrong with. I mean, it's great if someone, when they get older, they actually take to Krishna consciousness, but better late than never. It's not that Prabhupada takes issue with that. It's that notion is a fantasy, because if you would take to if you actually know that you would take to Krishna consciousness later, it means you would have to take to it now, because taking to Krishna consciousness is basically the idea that it can't wait, because all those things that you're trying to obtain, it has nothing to do with who you are. So therefore, you might as well focus on Krishna consciousness now, and then but out of Krishna's kindness, the Vedic teachings, which are Krishna's teachings, emanating from Lord Vishnu, they give us, they make it a little easier. They're like, okay, all that's true, but since you don't really get it, you can continue in this life trying to get lots of stuff. You don't have to be a lifetime brahmachari, or a lifetime renunciate. You can keep on doing all those different things, but chant Hare Krishna while you're doing all those things, and get together with the devotees like this. And you can't put it off till later, because that means you don't actually understand. There is no later. We're eternal.
Yeah, thank you. So you're speaking to how we use our time. Whether we subjectively experience that 35 years as our full life, or 75 or 85 years as our full life, or 2 minutes or a few hours. That time that we have is precious. That's what we are given. And so the wise person will use it to its full potential. Don't waste the time. And so when Atma was speaking, he was reminding me of something Prahlada Maharaj says in the Bhagavata Purana. He tells his friends, they bring that argument. So Prahlada is telling his friends, he's a 5-year-old boy, he tells his friends, hey friends, this life is very valuable and rarely achieved. You should use it for the cultivation of transcendental knowledge and the realization of your spiritual nature. And they say, Prahlad, we're just kids. We'll do that when we're big. And he says, yes, but when is that when we're big? When is that later? Exactly as Atma said. He said, you don't know how long you have. You don't know what your full life will be. You may be old right now. If we are to die tomorrow, this is our old age. You say we're just 5, but if we die tomorrow, this is the twilight of our lives. And you're saying, I will do this later on. I will do this when I'm old, but you don't know when that time is. If you really value this knowledge that I'm sharing, he's a 5-year-old, he's teaching his friends. If you really value what I'm teaching you, you'll apply it now. Yeah, thank you. Any other reflection, Michael?
Yeah, no, that's what I never could understand. I never could understand why people never really looked at the source. They always seem to appreciate and go after what he provides.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And when they spoke in the lecture, they were talking about intelligence. Intelligence as a relative term, meaning if the knowledge is true, if it's truth, if it's big T truth, shouldn't it not register with you? You can't wait for it to register later.
Right.
If it makes sense now. If it makes sense, if the knowledge makes sense, if it touches you in a way that, if it touches you in a way where it brings you into understanding your constitutional position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no waiting in that. I mean, the source, you go directly to the source. I mean, you don't wait. You don't. You don't use what he provides. You excuse my confusion while I'm trying to formulate the words here. I know exactly what I want to say. Trying to get it out sometimes is kind of labor for me.
Sure.
Okay? I always believe that absolute truth, I mean, you can find truth in many places. Truth is all over the place, little truth. You can find, I mean, everything is relative, everything relates, everything is connected to everything else. Everything is connected. So I'm saying to myself, it's one truth. It's only one truth. I mean, all these other little truths add up to the ultimate.
Yeah.
getting to the big T.
Right. Yeah. Very good. Thank you. And as you're speaking, I'm also thinking of maybe even capital I intelligence and then small I intelligence, when we're just like we're chasing after the shadows. We're using our intelligence, Prabhupada would say, just for eating and sleeping and reproduction, and it's like the trivial things of life that even animals pursue, right? Where's food? How do I defend myself? As opposed to this pursuit of actually who we are, like our essential nature and our eternal nature beyond all of these small t trivialities. Yes?
Would you say that for an individual to say something along those lines that you mentioned about, I will consider taking it up later in life, it's that that individual has an ounce of belief that there is happiness in the material form, and they're not fully convinced yet that they cannot achieve it here?
Yeah, that's our position, that's our condition as conditioned souls. As long as we're identified with material bodies, then we're going to also be attracted or considering happiness in the objects of the senses. So we'll be pursuing happiness in the sense objects. And that transitioning, we may understand theoretically, we may read Gita, hear Prabhupada, and like, okay, yeah, no, I'm actually a spirit soul, I'm not the body. But it's one thing to understand it theoretically, and it's another thing to realize it. So as long as we haven't realized it, our spiritual nature and our eternal relationship with Krishna, then those material attachments will have a lure for us. And for us, it's a process of transition. And that's a process of where we cultivate over time our relationship with Krishna, cultivate over time self-realization, a realization of our spiritual nature. From the theoretical to the realized, that's something that we develop through what we call sadhana bhakti, or the practice of devotional service. So jnana and vijnana, knowledge and realization, they are two stages. So as long as we understand theoretically the jnana, that's good, a good start. And through a process of practice, it becomes more and more realized to us. And we start to realize, and then the other thing diminishes. So there's a correspondence.
I do want to apologize to the group because usually I don't stumble on trying to get my words out. I usually, before I speak, I usually wait for direction. Okay? I'm just so frustrated now that I have things that I want to express.
Yeah.
And I'm having difficulty, like it's labor coming out.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to get really, really frustrated with that.
Right.
And I do apologize to the class for it because usually I'm not that lost for words.
Maybe after dinner it's going to be better.
That's a good hint there, Subhangana. A subtle hint. Might be time for prasadam soon, huh? Have a little kirtan?
I know.
No, it does help.
I just felt it needed to be said for me to be able to say that because
No, it's because you're learning. This is a new language and a new thought process and a new way to live. Although it's the original process that we all know, but we're getting it back. So it's like we're going back. We're like becoming babies again when we learn Krishna consciousness. So if not everything comes easy to you, the way the other stuff that you know well your whole life, that you know how to deal with, this is something different. So you're starting again to get acquainted with it. So don't worry.
Thank you.
And we're all patient, because when we see that you stumble a little bit, but that demonstrates you're trying, and And Bhagavad says it's a very rare person who's interested in trying to understand the absolute truth. So someone who's trying, and your stomach demonstrates that you're trying, that reflects you're one of those people. So we're happy to have you here. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Gaur Premanandi.
Hari Hari Bol.